So in these two sentences, so the first sentence, news is traveling faster than even before. News is traveling faster than even before. In this sentence, news is the subject because we are talking about the news. And in the second sentence, physics has fascinated by hostel mate for months. Physics has fascinated by hostel mate for months. In this example also, we are talking about physics. Physics is the subject of the sentence. Here the form of the word, when we see the form of the word, news it ends in s and physics it ends in s. That means it is the form of the word is plural. But here the meaning of the word is singular. See, few words in English or like the form of the words. If we see the form of the words, the form of the word is plural, but when we just take the meaning of the word, that would be in singular. So such words always carries a singular verb. Such words always carries a singular verb. And we have few more examples also here. News, measles. Measles is a kind of disease. Mumps, physics, electronics, tactics, economics, all these words ends in s and the form of the word is plural. But when we get such words in a sentence, the form of the word is plural but the meaning of the word is in singular. So we are going to use only singular verbs. This is one more example. And see this sentence. The goods are being dispatched today by goods train. The goods are being dispatched today by goods train. Here the word goods, that means we are talking about the goods. Here the word goods, actually few words are used only in their plural form. They have no singular forms. Some words in English, they are used only in plural forms. If they are used in a singular form, then the meaning of the word changes. Then the meaning of the word changes. So few words in English, they have only plural forms. They don't have any singular forms. If such words are used as subject of the sentence, then the verb, that should be in plural. Plural verbs are required for many nouns that have no singular form. That means the words which do not have any singular form, these words, or require these words require plural verb. So here the goods are being dispatched today by goods train. Here the subject of the sentence is goods, and this goods word, it has only plural form, and so we are using a plural verb here. See this sentence. The committee has agreed to submit its report on Friday. The committee has agreed to submit its report on Friday. Here in this word we are talking about committee. Committee in the sense a group of people who forms into a committee. Like we are not talking about a single person, but we are talking about many people who formed a committee. But here this word, the committee, is taken as a single unit, and so we are using a singular verb with this particular word. So when the group acts as a unit, okay, the verb should be in singular. If you are referring to the group which is acting as a unit, then the verb has to be in singular. And see the second example. The board of directors meets once in a month. The board of directors meets once in a month. Here also the board of directors represents a group of people, and here this group is acting as a unit, and so we have to take a singular verb here. So we have used meets. Meets is the singular form of the verb. The board of directors meets once in a month. So we have to remember, like if you are referring to a group and the group is acting as a unit, as a single unit, then the verb it should be in singular only. So here we have taken singular verbs. Take one more example. The police were on the hunt for the murderers. The police were on the hunt for the murderers. That means here the police also is referring to a group, but here each and every person in the group, they are on work. That is, they are to find the murderers. They are on the work to find the murderers of the hunt. Like the police were on the hunt for the murders. Here, when the members of the group are thought of acting separately. So here we are not referring this group as a single unit, but they are doing their work separately. And so we have to use a plural verb along with such groups or along with such subjects. So the police were on the hunt for the murderers. Each and every police in the group, they are searching for the murderer separately. And so we are using a plural verb here. When the members of the group are thought of acting separately, then the verb should be plural. See the other example. 100 rupees seems too much for the job. 100 rupees seems too much for the job. And see the second example. 6 months is a long period. 6 months is a long period. In the first sentence, 100 rupees is the subject of the sentence. Here, 100 rupees, that means it's a amount of money. And here when we are referring to amount of money, that means we have to treat it as a single unit. And here 6 months is also is treated as a singular subject. That means here it is referring to a period of time. 6 months is a period of time. So such words, that means when nouns expressing periods of time, amounts of money, or some quantities are considered as a single unit. And so when they are considered as a single unit, the verb that is used along with such nouns should be in singular. 100 rupees means it's an amount, as a sum of amount. And so we have to use a singular verb here. 6 months, of course, a period of time. So these two things are here referring to a single unit. And so the verb that is used along with these two nouns is singular. So here when nouns expressing periods of time, amounts of money, or quantities are always considered as a single unit, and so a singular verb has to be used with such nouns. See in this example, a part of the office is closed. A part of the office is closed. See the second example. 2/3 of the mailing list has been typed. 2/3 of the mailing list has been typed. Here, just take the noun, the subject where a part of the office is closed. 2/3 of the mailing list has been typed. See here the expression which is highlighted, a part of, 2/3 of, a majority of, okay, 1/2 of, something like that. Such expressions, always carries a singular verb. Always carries a singular verb. See here, after these expressions, the noun that is followed is also singular only. A part of the office. Office is singular noun. 2/3 of the mailing list. List is a singular noun. So here, as the singular noun, as these expressions, they are followed by singular nouns. So we are using a singular verb here. See the next example. Part of the walls ought to be painted. Part of the walls ought to be painted. Here part of, that is the expression, and that is followed by the noun, a plural noun. So walls. Walls is a plural noun, and so we are using a plural verb here. Part of the walls ought to be painted. See in the next example, majority of the staff members, of course this is the whole expression, the majority of the staff members is plural again, and so the verb which is followed by the staff members is in plural form. The majority of the staff members live on a village. So members is in plural, and so the verb that we are using is also plural. Here part of the walls is plural, and so the verb that we are using is also plural. So use a plural verb when a plural noun follows. So when a singular noun follows, then we have to use singular verb. When a plural noun follows, then we have to use a plural verb. See one more thing. The number of board members is very small. The number of board members is very small. And see the next example. A number of board members were absent. A number of board members were absent. If you see such expressions in a sentence, that is the number or number. When you see the number, then you have to use a singular verb in that sentence. And if you see a number, then we have to use a plural verb. This one thing you have to remember. So if you see such expressions, that is the number or number, if you get the number in a sentence, then we have to use a singular verb. And a number, if you get it, then we have to use a plural verb. So in this, one of the reasons for his demotion is his carelessness. One of the reasons, that means here we are referring to only one reason among many reasons. One of the reasons for his demotion, that means we are referring to one reason here. And so the verb that we have used is singular. So in a sentence containing the words one of, the verb is chosen as follows. In simple form, one of or one of the, a singular verb is used. That means here, if you leave this, just take the example. Here, one of is used in this sentence, and one of the reasons they are telling. So one of the reasons, in the sense, in many reasons, we are just referring to one reason for his demotion, that is his carelessness. That means here we are referring to only one reason, not all the reasons, and so we have used a singular verb here. See the next example. Mr. Verma is one of our officers who are accompanying me. Mr. Verma is one of our officers who are accompanying me. In this sentence, Mr. Verma is a singular. Mr. Verma is the subject of the sentence and Mr. Verma is singular, and the verb followed is also singular. Mr. Verma is one of our officers who dash accompanying me. One of our officers, that means these officers are accompanying, and so officers is in plural, and so the verb that is used, which is followed by this noun, the verb that is used is plural. Here the sentences containing phrases one of those who, here one of those who. So if we get such phrase in a sentence, one of those who, or one of things that, this is also one more phrase you have to remember. One of those who, or one of the things that. So if you get such phrases in a sentence, definitely the verb will be in plural. Here, these poultry are ready for sale. These poultry are ready for sale. Here, the cattle are grazing near the kennel. Cattle are grazing near the kennel. Here, in these two sentences, poultry is a collective noun and cattle is also a collective noun. When you get collective nouns in a sentence, then the verb that you have to use should be plural. So when you get collective nouns in a sentence, then the verb that you have to use in a sentence should be plural. This one more rule you have to remember. The other one, her hair has turned grey now. Her hair has turned grey now. All the machinery is old. Here, certain nouns, they are always used in singular. They're always used in singular and they have to be followed by a singular verb only. Hair, in the sense, it is used in singular sense. Machinery, it is used in singular sense. When such nouns which are used in singular sense, and they have to be followed in by singular verbs only. In some exceptional cases, of course, we'll have a change, but it depends on the meaning of the sentence that we are constructing. Here, as a rule, what we have to remember is such nouns, they have to be always followed by a singular verb. So in this sentence, each employee is responsible for cleaning his desk in the evening. Each employee is responsible for clearing his desk in the evening. And see the next example. Neither of the boys is eligible for taking the examination. Neither of the boys is eligible for taking the examination. The first example and second example, we have some highlighted words here which we have to focus on. In the first sentence, each. Second sentence, neither. So such words like each, every, neither, either, if such words are used as pronouns or adjectives, then these always carry a singular verb. See here, each employee is responsible. Is a singular verb. So each, every, either and neither, if these words are used as adjectives or pronouns, then they should carry a singular verb. This is one more rule which you have to remember. Another one, see here, all the typing has been finished. All the typing has been finished. Here we have used a word all. And see in the next sentence, all the reports have been typed. All the reports have been typed. See in these two sentences, typing is in singular form and reports is a plural subject. See here, when we are using a singular subject along with all, then we have to use a singular verb only. When we are referring to plural subject, then we have to use a plural verb only. See in the next sentence also, most of the goods have been sold. Most of the goods is plural, and so we are using a plural verb. Most of the stock is in singular form, so we are using has, that is singular verb. Most of the stock has been sold, but more of these shirts are due. Shirts is plural, and so we are using a plural verb or. So when you get the words all, any, more, most, some, all, any, more, most, some, it depends, like maybe singular or plural. That means depending on the meaning and depending on the meaning of the context, we have to take the verbs accordingly. See here, typing we have taken, and so we have used a singular verb. Reports is in plural form, so we have used a plural verb. Goods plural form, we have used a plural verb. Stock in singular form, we have used a singular verb. So in that sense, according to the meaning of the sentence, we have to take the verbs according to the sentence of the sentence, we have to provide the verbs. See in this sentence, the Hindustan Times still has wide circulation. The Hindustan Times is the title of a newspaper, or when you just refer to the titles of books or titles of magazines or titles of newspapers in a sentence, then always it has to carry a singular verb. The Hindustan Times still has wide circulation. Has is a singular verb because we are referring to the newspaper here, but the title is in plural form doesn't mean that this is plural. Of course, this is the title of a newspaper, and whenever you get the titles of books or magazines or newspapers, it has to be followed by a singular verb. And few more words we have to remember. See some constructions with body like anybody, everybody, nobody, somebody, or things, anything, something, everything, nothing, and one. With one also we construct some compound words, anyone, everyone, someone, no one. If you just get such compound words in a sentence, anybody, everybody, nobody, somebody, anything, something, everything, nothing, anyone, everyone, someone, no one. See such words, they are always singular and require a singular verb. Of course it's a compound noun, but they're always in singular form and they require a singular verb. So if you get in a sentence anybody or anyone or everyone, the verb that you use or that you provide in the sentence should be in singular. And see here, Measles is among the diseases that are curable. Measles is among the diseases that are curable. This is only one of the local papers that prints a weekly horoscope. This is only one of the local papers that prints a weekly horoscope. Here in these two sentences, we have used a relative pronoun, it is that. And in this sentence also, we have used a relative pronoun that. A relative pronoun, if it is used as a subject, measles is among the diseases, that diseases, this is referring to a subject, that or curable. Like, a relative pronoun used as a subject, it takes a singular or plural verb to accord with its antecedent. That means here, if that, here relative pronoun is that, and this is preceded by the subject, and this subject is in plural, that is diseases is in plural, and now here the verb that we are using is are. So the word, if you get a relative pronoun in a sentence, the word that it precedes, like it is preceded by, so if this word is in singular, then the verb also should be in singular. If this word is in plural, then the verb should be in plural. So here diseases is in plural form, and so we have used a plural verb are. Here in this sentence, one of the local papers, see here we are not referring to all the papers, but we are referring to only one paper, and so here that is preceded by a singular noun. One of the local papers means here one paper we are referring among many papers, and so the verb that we have used is singular, prints. So we are referring to one single paper, and so the verb also is in singular. So this is the thing what we have to remember in a sentence. If we find any relative pronoun, the word that is the noun that is preceded by the relative pronoun, that if that is in singular, and the verb also will be in singular. If that is in plural, then the verb will be in plural. So all these rules that we have to remember about the subject verb agreement. And subject verb agreement in the sense, like in a sentence, of whom we are speaking or of what we are speaking becomes the subject of the sentence, and according to the subject, according to the number of the subject, we have to use the verb form. If the subject is in singular, then we have to use a singular verb form. If the subject is in plural, then we have to use a plural verb form. And also we have to remember other rules, whatever that we have discussed so far. Thank you.